Leveling up in Dungeons and Dragons is terrible. Whew, I can finally say it now. I can get it off my chest. It's bad. It could be so much better, and I have solutions for how I'm making it better. Because there are gaps in rewards while leveling up that give you no class features whatsoever and have minimal things to look forward to when you level up. And the things about attributes and skill points and these things that you should be getting along the way as you level up, the only times where you get an ability score increase, you also have to choose between either getting ability score increase or a feat, and most people usually choose a feat, or it's what's more optimal or helps develop their character and customize it in a bigger and better way than just a simple number. That's all you get. So you not only don't get a lot of ability score increases, but you also have to choose between them, and then you don't get a lot of options there. And this is the crazy one. The game goes to level 20, but no one ever gets there. So a game is designed around 20 levels that most of us literally never even see that back half of. And multi-classing, don't even get me started on that, but hold up one second. I'm the Dungeon Coach, and here's what we do. We think outside the box on this channel so hard that we're breaking boxes left and right here. I'm launching my own tabletop role-playing game called DC20 RPG. That's the code name for it right now. And this is a lot of the things that I'm now able and freed up to do on how to fix leveling up. These issues apply to Dungeons and Dragons and maybe other game systems as well, but these are my solutions and ways that I'm handling and fixing things and my game design philosophy with it. And if you like some of the stuff that I'm saying, this new leveling up system sounds like an interesting thing for you, that is just one of the many upgrades that I am going for with this new tabletop role-playing game. If you want to check out the DC20 RPG system, link down below to my Patreon, where all Patreon supporters get early access to rules, feedback, live streams. We just did an hour-and-a-half live stream diving through all the neat stuff, talking about all the new rules, asking and answering questions, all that stuff. And there's a whole lot more to come, but let's dive into some of these rules and see if we sync up on some of these thoughts here. All right, so let's break down these issues, share some solutions, and start talking about it. First thing to get into is this campaign level spread chart. This was something that was pulled from a lot of data, all pulled together into one spot, and just look at it. It's kind of crazy. Look how few of people actually see the back half of the game. Most of it is loaded up towards the beginning. Now let's throw that campaign chart out and talk about characters. Where do you think the average level of a character would be? The highest level a character gets to, and then you press the reset button, you start a new campaign. Whatever level you start at, how high does a character normally get to before you press the reset button? I really want you to think what that number is, and you might be surprised that the number is 10. The average level of Dungeons and Dragons characters is between 8 and 12. That's the solid range standard deviation curve, and it makes sense. It's in the middle. Cool. But with everything I've just said, most campaigns happen before level 10. Most characters are at level 10, and it ends definitely by 12. In some rare cases, yes, it keeps going. You get those high level campaigns, but you gotta think of the big picture here. So in my opinion, why then would you create a game worth 20 levels worth of gameplay if people only ever usually see that first 10? I do still think that level 11 through 20 are important. They should be a part of the game, but they shouldn't be the main focus of class design, because if you're creating a class in Dungeons and Dragons, so many times when I've homebrewed classes and tried to do fixes here and there and different homebrew ideas, 16th level, 15th, 18th level abilities, why do they matter? Because players never will get them in their span of adventuring, and whenever you're creating a campaign, you're going to play some sort of adventure that goes to 12 or 14, it doesn't matter. Your class capstone, you'll never see it. So in my DC20 RPG system, that level that the game revolves around is 10. But wait, the biggest misconception that I've seen in the comments of this last video that you guys really loved up, and I really appreciate that. That's why I'm making this video. The misconception is whenever I say the game system is 10 levels, it is not taking the 20 levels of D&D and jamming them and squishing them into 10. Because here's my solution. I have kept the same first through 10 levels the same. Level 1 all the way up through 10 would take the same amount of time, the same amount of experience, same amount of effort and energy and in real life time, campaign time, whatever, to get to level 10. But once you get to level 10, levels 11 through 20 are handled in prestige mode, or champion levels, or whatever they're going to be called. But once you hit level 10, you have hit your class's max. You have gotten all the way to level 10. You've gotten all your classes abilities and features, subclass ability features. Awesome. And now from levels 11 to 20, you still level up and you still get really cool options. In fact, more customization options than ever. You're basically going to be able to go back and get talents from other classes, get talents from other subclasses, general talents, and truly just start really customizing and finishing out the build on your character, if you ever get that high. So my analogy would be, if your campaign right now, let's say you're playing in a campaign, y'all are about to wrap up the campaign, the max level you got to was 12. Cool. Why would you want to play and have the levels based around a 20 level spread right? And then you just missed out on 8 levels and press the reset button again, instead of playing in a game system that goes to 10 levels and then you just took 2 levels of prestige. You really were able to play that class, feel out the most of it, get all an experience of what it's like to play that class all the way through what it has to offer. And then you even kept going even farther to 11th and 12th level, and you got 2 cool customized special features. So just imagine these 2 game experiences of the current D&D system structure, even compared to other game systems. And what I'm proposing here is level 1, cool, you have your stuff. You level up to level 2, level 3, you get your subclass and stuff, level 4, 5, 6, and it keeps going. It's the same pace. I'm just saying whatever class design and game design cool features you want to give a class, that should be happening right now. And you get to level 10 where a lot of people, the average player, would be able to get those features. So it matters whenever you're creating cool stuff for what a druid can do, what a fighter can do. Players will be able to feel and experience that. And if you want to keep pushing the limits of your character, pushing the limits of the campaign, see what's going on, it's all free form and very easy to do. Stop right there. If you're interested in class design for what I have proposed for my system, I have a whole different way of doing classes that is all based around different pockets of talents that they get, and they level up, and then you can go back and pick other talents. And that's how I think a better version of multi-classing can be done. But if you're interested in any of these other types of systems, I'm going to have polls in my community channel. I'll link down below. And however well these videos do on the DC20 RPG system, I want to see what level of interest there is on the YouTube side of things and be able to make videos like this. If the videos on YouTube don't really take off and stuff, okay, I'll make content about other stuff, possibly Pathfinder, possibly other systems, and just keep going with that. But over on Patreon, I know there's a ton of hype right now for this new system. I've been releasing and doing live streams, and I'm about to start rolling out some rules and stuff here for this new game system and all the different stuff that it has in store. So if you're interested and want to support, then share the video, share it around to your other friends, see what they think about this level up system, and I would love to hear your feedback down in the comments. And if you're really, really interested and want to actually support this thing turning into something and being one of the big TTRPGs in the future as this whole new landscape is kind of adapting and evolving, then you can join Patreon. Links for that are down in the description, and on Patreon there's a ton more information about where this whole thing's going and timelines and all that kind of stuff. All right, now back to this level breakdown. Ability score increases. You never get them in D&D. You make your character, you have all these attribute scores, you you add the points, and you get your racial bonuses and all these other things, and then you have a character, and then you might have that feat. A lot of times whenever I make a character, I know at 4th level I'm gonna pick this feat, right? And that's really helping me build out what I'm wanting to do with this thing. And a lot of times in D&D, people will give feats for free at 1st level, which I think is also due to a lack of customization and helping people build out characters that are more customized, which I think is also just an inherent problem. Maybe there should be more customization options, not necessarily maybe at 1st level, because I don't want to overwhelm brand new players, but as the character levels up, there should be more and more and more and more customization. But those ability score increases, man, you just never get them. So in my system, I'm proposing that you actually get ability score increases every level. If that seems crazy based on community feedback and other stuff like that, it might be every other level, but either way, you're going to be getting a steady flow of ability score increases to keep adding up your scores. In my system, +5 is still the max until you get to higher levels, and then that actually increases, but it's going to be about the same feel of numbers. But now when you start off lower, I also feel like your attributes should start off lower when you first start a level 1 character, and they should grow over time. But in D&D, you can create a character with a +5 already out the gate at level 1. That just feels dumb. And if you like having a +5 in a stat right off the bat and get it going right away, okay, sure. In my system, you can do that at level 2 or level 3. It's going to happen pretty early on. But in general, your overall ability scores are going to start off at a lower level, and you kind of got to really pick and choose what you're good at. And then you keep getting more of them, which will feel good, and more customized options, the more choices you have to be able to keep pouring points in. And then awesome, cool. I feel like my character is advancing and growing as they level up. And the same thing's true for skills. Oh my gosh, I guess this does kind of tie into skills. Is in D&D, how do you gain proficiency in something? You would have to pick a feat or something, and now you have to pick a feat. Let's say your character's constantly been role-playing their animal handling. They've been interacting with animals all around, and they should be proficient in animal handling. You could just be a nice dungeon master and give them a bonus level up perk. I created that whole system where you can just give them a perk for that reason. I even created a skill proficiency leveling up process where they make checks at certain times and they build up points based on their checks. It's a whole bunch of workarounds instead of you should just be given skill points. In D&D, they're called skill proficiencies. In my system, they're skill points, and you can put multiple in skills and level them up further, which is actually more similar to Pathfinder. We have untrained, trained, and it gets actually up to like 5 levels and stuff. So it's a little bit more complicated. I'm finding that middle ground of like more customization options, but it's still simple. Because if your character's working on different things and skills and stuff where they have became more intimidating as they've leveled up. They should be able to get a point at some point without having to sacrifice other features and other things going on to be able to start building out their characters' attributes and skills without having to sacrifice feats and other things. And not only do I feel like it's lacking on the amount of those points that you can spend, but it's also lacking on some class features at the core level. I know that spellcasters get cool, like another leveled spell slot. Now you get access to a 5th level spell slot and you get to choose a spell for that 5th level spell slot. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool, but I want to get something for the class. Like, I don't think that that's necessarily enough. Like, oh, hey, you just leveled up. Now you get a 5th level spell slot. That's it though. What? That feels bad. I don't know. I've always felt like it's like, they just don't, and I know I'm not trying to make spellcasters overpowered and now they get all these things and all these spells. And first of all, spell slots, that whole thing's going away. There's not going to be a spell slot system in my system. But again, I'm going to have a poll for what kind of stuff y'all want to see information on, and I could share some information on that too. But man, in some classes, there's just moments where it's just like, oh, that's all I get? Okay, I want my players to be excited every time they level up and have some options to be able to choose and go with, or just be excited at the thing that they actually get. So I'm going to do something here that I already planned on doing. I've had this already months in advance. I just started a Curse of Strahd campaign. All the live plays of that are available on my Patreon as well. And I do breakdowns of those Curse of Strahd campaigns over on my second channel, Dungeon Coach Plays. That'll be linked in the description as usual too. But when I started that, one of my players wanted to be a bard, and they just released the one D&D bard, and then there's the original bard, and I was like, both of these are close to what I feel. I feel like a bard is just a little something different, so I have made my own, like, Dungeon Coach bard, whatever you want to call it, my version of a bard. So with all this craziness going on, I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I'm just going to be releasing it for free out in the public. I'm going to make a video on it and show some game design stuff of like why this new bard is where the thoughts came from this, and I can also give some insight into my own game design philosophy to see if we can sync up on things and you like the type of stuff that I create. So stay tuned for that bard video. Stay tuned for other system agnostic resources I'm going to be coming out with. Next week's video is a encounter builder that is system agnostic. It was originally built and designed with the whole OGL stuff going on, but it is system agnostic as well. That's also yet another thing that's a reward for my patrons. So if you want to think about joining and supporting whatever I'm doing here on this channel with and all the different ways of content that I'm creating, whether it be actual resources, videos of live plays, or a brand new game system, there's a ton of stuff to check out over my Patreon. Join the community over there. There's a bunch of excitement going on even in these dark times and seeing where everything's going, and I appreciate every one of y'all and everyone that's just watching this video, sharing it around, liking it, commenting. Love to see all the engagement and action down there. So stay creative, keep thinking outside that box. Peace.